Welcome to this premium book summary podcast. Today, we are stepping into The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest, a book about self-sabotage, inner resistance, emotional healing, and the brave work of becoming the person you were meant to be. Imagine a mountain standing in front of you. At first, it looks like the obstacle. But slowly, the book reveals something powerful. The mountain is not outside you. The mountain is the pattern inside you that keeps pulling you back.
Exactly. And that is what makes this book feel so personal. It does not simply say, work harder or stay positive. It asks a deeper question. Why do we sometimes block the very life we say we want? Why do we delay important decisions, choose unhealthy comfort, repeat painful relationships, or run away from opportunities that could change everything? The answer is not that we are weak. Often, self-sabotage is a misunderstood form of self-protection.
So in this episode, we will not just summarize the book. We will experience it. We will talk about the best ideas in a descriptive, story-like way, as if you and I are sitting at the base of that mountain and slowly understanding what it is trying to teach us. And throughout the conversation, we will highlight the most important lessons you can apply immediately.
Let us begin with the core idea. Self-sabotage is what happens when your conscious desires and your unconscious needs are in conflict. Consciously, you may want success, love, discipline, peace, or a new identity. But unconsciously, a part of you may associate those very things with danger, rejection, visibility, responsibility, or the fear of losing who you used to be.
That is such an important point. We often think our bad habits are random. But the book suggests that every pattern is serving a purpose, even if that purpose is outdated. For example, procrastination may protect you from the fear of failure. Overthinking may protect you from uncertainty. Avoiding intimacy may protect you from heartbreak. The behavior is not the real enemy. It is a signal.
Highlight this. Your self-sabotage is not proof that you are broken. It is proof that some part of you is trying to keep you safe with an old strategy. The healing begins when you stop hating the pattern and start asking, what is this trying to protect me from? That question changes everything because it turns shame into curiosity.
The book also explains that people do not change only because they know better. We change when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the fear of doing something new. Think about it. A person may know they need to leave a toxic situation, start exercising, write the application, have the honest conversation, or finally rest. But knowing is not the same as becoming ready.
Readiness often comes when denial stops working. There is a moment when the old life becomes too tight. You may still be scared, but you can no longer pretend that the pattern is harmless. That moment is not a breakdown. It can be a breakthrough. The mountain starts moving when you decide that your future deserves more loyalty than your fear.
Another beautiful idea is that your triggers are teachers. A trigger is not just something that upsets you. It reveals a place inside you that still needs attention. If someone else's success makes you feel small, maybe your own ambition has been neglected. If criticism destroys you, maybe your self-worth is still too dependent on approval. If silence feels like rejection, maybe an old abandonment wound is speaking.
And this is where emotional intelligence enters the story. The book encourages us to listen to emotions instead of immediately obeying them. Anger can show a boundary. Jealousy can show a desire. Sadness can show what mattered. Anxiety can show where we feel unsafe. Emotions are data, not dictators. When you learn to interpret them, you stop being controlled by them.
There is a very grounded lesson here. Healing is not becoming emotionless. Healing is becoming honest. It is the ability to sit with discomfort and ask, what is actually happening inside me? Many people try to build a new life on top of unprocessed feelings, but unprocessed feelings do not disappear. They become habits, reactions, and unconscious choices.
The book also talks about the gap between who you are and who you are becoming. This gap can feel uncomfortable because growth threatens your old identity. If you have always seen yourself as the struggling one, peace may feel unfamiliar. If you have always been the helper, receiving support may feel selfish. If chaos has been normal, stability may feel boring at first.
That line is so real. Sometimes what is healthy feels wrong simply because it is unfamiliar. This is why people return to old patterns. Not because those patterns are good, but because they are known. The nervous system often chooses the familiar over the better. So transformation requires patience. You must teach your body that a better life is safe.
Highlight number 2. Your next level will often feel uncomfortable before it feels natural. Do not use discomfort as evidence that you are on the wrong path. Sometimes discomfort is just the feeling of leaving an old room and entering a wider one. The door is open, but your mind still expects the old walls.
Now let us talk about the mountain itself. In the book, the mountain represents the internal challenge that must be faced before external life can change. Many people try to rearrange the outside world while avoiding the inner work. They change jobs, partners, routines, cities, and goals, but the same emotional pattern follows them everywhere.
Because wherever you go, your unhealed self goes too. If you do not address the root, life keeps offering different versions of the same lesson. The mountain is patient. It will keep appearing in new forms until you learn what it is asking you to learn. That may sound intense, but it is also hopeful. It means your struggles are not meaningless. They are invitations.
One of the strongest parts of the book is its focus on responsibility. Not blame, responsibility. Blame says, this is my fault, so I should feel ashamed. Responsibility says, this is my life, so I have power here. That distinction matters. You may not have chosen every wound, every loss, or every limitation. But you can choose what you build with what remains.
Responsibility is empowering because it returns your attention to what you can influence. You cannot control every person's opinion. You cannot rewrite the past. You cannot force life to be predictable. But you can choose your response, your habits, your boundaries, your standards, your environment, and the meaning you give to your experiences.
Let us make this practical. Suppose someone wants to become disciplined, but every night they scroll for hours and wake up disappointed. The shallow advice would be, just stop scrolling. But the deeper question is, what emotional need is the scrolling meeting? Is it escape? Is it comfort? Is it the only time they feel in control? Is it avoidance of tomorrow?
Once you understand the need, you can replace the behavior without abandoning the need. If scrolling gives comfort, create a healthier evening ritual. If it gives escape, build moments of rest during the day. If it avoids fear, write down the one task that scares you and make it smaller. Self-sabotage ends not through punishment, but through wiser self-leadership.
The book also points towards self-trust. Many people do not trust themselves because they have broken promises to themselves for years. They said they would start, stop, leave, speak up, or change, and then they did not. Self-trust is rebuilt slowly through small evidence. Not dramatic declarations, but consistent follow-through.
This is a powerful highlight. Confidence is not something you think into existence. Confidence is the memory of keeping your word to yourself. Every small promise kept becomes proof. Drink the water. Send the message. Take the walk. Save the money. Sleep on time. Tell the truth. These may look simple, but they are votes for a new identity.
Another deep theme is that your life improves when your standards improve. Standards are not about arrogance. They are about clarity. What do you allow? What do you repeat? What do you tolerate because it is familiar? If you want a different life, you must become unavailable for the patterns that created your current one.
And this does not mean becoming harsh. It means becoming aligned. You stop negotiating with habits that drain you. You stop auditioning for people who do not value you. You stop confusing intensity with love, busyness with importance, and self-abandonment with kindness. A better life requires a better boundary system.
The book also explores purpose in a refreshing way. Purpose is not always a grand lightning strike. Sometimes purpose begins with what you cannot stop caring about. It begins with the problems that move you, the skills that energize you, and the kind of service that makes your pain useful. Purpose is not only found, it is built.
And often, the very mountain you climb becomes the path you later guide others through. Your struggle with fear may teach you courage. Your loneliness may teach you connection. Your failure may teach you humility. Your healing may become your message. Nothing is wasted when you learn from it deeply.
There is also a gentle warning in the book. Do not confuse comfort with peace. Comfort can be the familiar cage. Peace is the inner steadiness that comes from alignment. Comfort may say, stay where nothing challenges you. Peace says, choose what is true, even if it asks you to grow.
That difference matters because many of us chase comfort and wonder why we still feel restless. The soul does not only want ease. It wants truth. It wants expansion. It wants to become capable of carrying the life it secretly knows is possible. The mountain is difficult because it is training you for that capacity.
Now, if someone asks, where do I begin? The book would point toward awareness. Start by noticing the pattern without immediately judging it. What do you do when life gets better? What do you avoid when you feel afraid? What emotion do you hate feeling? What do you keep choosing even though it hurts? Awareness is the first climb.
Then comes acceptance. Acceptance does not mean approval. It means telling the truth without running away. Yes, I do this. Yes, this is my pattern. Yes, it has protected me. And yes, I am ready to choose differently. That kind of honesty is not weakness. It is the beginning of personal power.
Then comes action, but action in small, repeatable steps. The mountain is not climbed through one dramatic leap. It is climbed by showing up again and again. The book reminds us that transformation is often quiet. It looks like choosing the hard conversation, closing the app, taking the breath, making the plan, asking for help, and not betraying yourself when nobody is watching.
Let us pause on one of the most important messages. You do not become your best self by destroying your old self. You become your best self by understanding the old self, thanking it for trying to protect you, and then leading it somewhere better. That is a compassionate kind of growth. It is firm, but not cruel.
I love that because many self-help messages create pressure. But this book feels more like an invitation to maturity. It says, stop waiting for life to remove the mountain. The mountain is the path. The fear, the resistance, the pattern, the wound, all of it contains information. All of it can become material for transformation.
So, if we had to summarize the mountain as you in one line, it would be this. The obstacle you keep meeting is often the part of yourself asking to be healed, understood, and integrated. When you face it, you do not just get over a problem. You become a different person.
Let us go one level deeper and turn the book into a practical inner work map. Step 1 is to identify the exact moment you leave yourself. Maybe it happens when you feel judged. Maybe when success gets close. Maybe when someone becomes emotionally unavailable. That moment is a doorway. If you can slow it down, you can finally see the script your mind has been running automatically.
Step 2 is to name the hidden fear. Behind most self-sabotage, there is a sentence we have never fully admitted. If I try, I might fail. If I succeed, people may expect too much. If I love deeply, I may be abandoned. If I rest, I may fall behind. Once the fear is named, it becomes smaller. It is no longer a ghost in the room.
Step 3 is to separate facts from stories. The fact may be, one person criticized my work. The story may be, I am not talented and I should stop. The fact may be, this relationship ended. The story may be, I am unlovable. The mountain grows when stories pretend to be facts. Healing begins when you gently separate the two.
Step 4 is to choose a new response before the old pattern activates. This is important because willpower is weakest when emotions are loud. Decide in advance. When I feel rejected, I will not chase. I will breathe and ground myself. When I feel overwhelmed, I will not disappear. I will take one small action. Preparation turns growth into a system.
Step 5 is to create emotional safety. Many people try to force change while their nervous system feels threatened. But real change becomes easier when the body feels safe. Sleep, movement, sunlight, journaling, honest conversations, and a calm environment are not side things. They are the foundation. A regulated person makes wiser choices.
The book also makes us question our definition of success. Success is not only more money, more attention, or more achievement. Success is also becoming someone who can be at peace with themselves. It is being able to enjoy what you have without constantly fearing that it will disappear. It is building a life that does not require you to abandon your own soul.
And that connects to another beautiful lesson. You cannot hate yourself into a life you love. Shame may create temporary discipline, but it cannot create inner freedom. If your motivation is self-disgust, every step feels like punishment. But when your motivation is self-respect, every step feels like care. The outer action may be the same, but the energy is completely different.
Let us imagine a listener who is stuck right now. They know what they want, but they keep delaying it. This book would not call them lazy. It would ask them to look closer. What does starting represent? Maybe visibility. Maybe risk. Maybe the end of an old identity. Maybe proof that they can no longer hide behind potential. That realization can be emotional, but it is also freeing.
Because once you understand the emotional cost of change, you can support yourself through it. You can say, of course this feels scary. I am not just starting a project. I am becoming visible. I am leaving a familiar version of myself. That kind of compassion does not weaken discipline. It makes discipline sustainable.
Another premium takeaway is this. Your environment should support the identity you are building. If your phone, room, calendar, friendships, and routines all pull you toward the old life, then change will feel like a daily battle. But when your environment is designed for your future self, good choices become easier. You are not relying only on motivation. You are building structure.
The book also reminds us that grief is part of transformation. Even positive change can involve loss. You may lose old coping mechanisms, old relationships, old versions of belonging, and old excuses. Sometimes the mountain hurts because a part of you is saying goodbye. Honor that grief. You are allowed to miss a life you no longer want to live.
And then comes integration. Integration means you stop splitting yourself into good parts and bad parts. The fearful part, the ambitious part, the wounded part, the wise part. All of them are trying to be heard. Growth is not internal war. Growth is inner leadership. The mature self listens to every part, then chooses the direction.
This is where the book becomes more than motivation. It becomes a mirror. It asks, what if the delay is not the problem, but a message? What if the anxiety is not the enemy, but a signal? What if the repeated pattern is not proof of failure, but proof that a deeper lesson is still waiting for your attention?
For a daily exercise, try this. At the end of the day, write 3 lines. First, today I noticed myself avoiding. Second, the feeling underneath was. Third, tomorrow, one kinder and braver choice will be. This simple practice creates self-awareness, emotional honesty, and action. Over time, it turns the mountain into a map.
And here are the key takeaways. First, self-sabotage is usually self-protection with outdated information. Second, triggers are messengers. Third, discomfort can mean growth, not danger. Fourth, self-trust is rebuilt through small promises kept. Fifth, boundaries and standards shape your future. And finally, the mountain is not here to defeat you. It is here to introduce you to your own strength.
Before we close, imagine standing again at the base of that mountain. Earlier, it looked like an enemy. Now it looks different. It is still tall. It is still demanding. But you understand that every step upward is also a step inward. You are not climbing to become someone else. You are climbing to meet the person you have been avoiding, the wiser, stronger, calmer version of you.
Thank you for listening to this podcast-style summary of The Mountain Is You. If you take only one thing with you, let it be this. Do not shame yourself for the patterns that once protected you. Learn from them. Lead them. And when the mountain appears, remember, it may not be blocking your path. It may be becoming your path.
This was your premium book summary experience. Breathe, reflect, and take one honest step today. The summit is not reached in a single moment. But the moment you stop running from yourself, the climb has already begun.